Hey there, welcome to day 1175 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I go about transitioning from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. It's been over 25 years, over a quarter century, I like to say. Makes me feel older, makes me feel wiser in corporate America, in some of the coolest, most interesting, best industries and corporations on the planet. And alongside that, I was running businesses, including an Italian food manufacturing business that I ran for 37 years and just let go of as part of my divorce a few years ago. And learned a lot about the offline world. But I'd always been curious about the online world. So when I had the opportunity, after divesting ourselves of all of our joint businesses in 2017, I decided, what am I going to do now? And I hopped online and started doing things. Now, I'm not going to even pretend I started doing things the smart way. I thought it was smart when I did it, but come to look back, like, remember, hindsight's 2020, probably not the smartest, best way of approaching this behemoth that is the online world, the internet. But I've learned a lot, and I'm documenting and sharing my journey for a lot of reasons. Number one, I am legally blind and can't see squat, so I've got my magnifying glasses, but I used to write and document things through a blog, and that's just too cumbersome now for me to type and write. I can type, but it doesn't mean there's not going to be a gazillion typos. The kids said, once I stopped texting, that they never could read my text because it was like a jumbled, mixed up letter thing. So nowadays, I talk into my phone, and hopefully it's a little bit more accurate than my texting is. So I like to use this as a method to document my journey. So what am I doing? I'm doing a couple of different challenges right now. One is the Get Up and Go 30-plus day challenge. I started it as part of my response to what the heck am I going to do when COVID-19 hit. COVID shocked and awed millions and millions and millions of people, and I wanted to find a way to give back and be doing something proactive and positive to help myself and other people make it through the pandemic. Well, now we're a year into the pandemic. This is the 7th time I've done this 30-plus day challenge. We're on day 17 today, and it was all about taking action. I created a framework that's actually what I've done over the decades to help me get through challenging situations, to deal with change, to deal with things that happen, because anybody that's lived as long as me has had a whole lot of challenges and a whole lot of changes that we've had to live through and adapt to. And each of us, different level. I mean, I've personally had a lot of health-related and chronic pain-related challenges that the vast majority of people I talk to and work with could not relate to. They've never had anything like that. That's why, I hate to say it, but COVID has been this great equalizer in everyone on the planet is simultaneously going through a change due to the root cause of the same thing. The coronavirus hit, that's the root cause. That's a root cause none of us can do anything about, right? It happened. So now what we can do is determine our response. And so I've spent all my time and energy managing my own response and helping other people to do the same through different mechanisms. But one mechanism is the Get Up and Go challenge. Today we were talking about the A in the SOAP framework, which is action, and what can we do, what do we do, and how do we decide among alternatives? Because there's always a whole lot of different options and actions we could take, but how do we decide what we're going to do? So we talked about the nominal group technique, a very simple version of the nominal group technique, which I taught to my 8-year-old daughter when she was 8 so she could name a puppy. So you can use it for anything, any area in any aspect of your life. And then the old first problem-solving decision-making tool my dad taught me and I was ever taught was plus or minus. What are the positives to the thing that you want to do? What are the negatives? That is the quickest, dirtiest, easiest tool on the planet. All of us can use it, and we should, and so often we don't. We just go, I don't feel like eating there. I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like doing this. It's like, okay, well, you don't feel like it, but what do you want to do instead? Because otherwise we just end up sitting stuck in the same spot all the time. Also doing in 2021 an annual challenge called Do One Thing Every Day that centers you. This is the 4th year in a row I've done an annual challenge where I've picked a theme and a thing, and it happens to coincide with these little journal books that I like because it gives me a random activity, not super random, but a random related activity to the topic to do every single day. So instead of having to think up something myself, what am I going to do today that centers me? It gives me an idea. It gives me a saying or a thought and an activity to do with respect to that saying or that expression. Sometimes it's a saying, sometimes it's an activity, but it's always something that I can learn from, right? And I like to learn a little bitty thing every day, even if it's just a teeny tiny thing every day. So today we it's not enough to have a good mind. You have to use it well. And I think that's so much about, and we were having this conversation about a week or so ago with my son. He's like, it's not any good, Mom, if you just listen to stuff and learn it if you don't apply it. I'm like, hello, preaching to the choir here. I said, do I do stuff every day? Do I take action? Am I consistent? He goes, yeah, but not on everything. I'm like, nobody can take action on everything. We have to pick and choose what's a priority for us. Supersize your business. I've been sharing an idiom a day for like probably 800 days now. Started doing it as part of my divorce and move and separating assets and things, and just kind of started to have fun with it. At first, it was just something to tide me over and take up time, and then it started to become a little bit of a fun challenge every day. Just take some of these idioms and expressions that have been around for centuries and say, well, how does that apply to my business right now, my business and my life right now? And right now, we did 100 Proverbs at the beginning of 2021 because I was looking for something different. Ran out of my book of 600 and some idioms, so I had to find different resources. And I was going through a dictionary of words and things, and there's 25,000 idioms in the English language alone. So there's plenty. I'm not going to run out, but how do you pick the ones that are most relevant? So the book originally was a book of my kids that I found when I was moving it that they never read. It was bought it for them probably in middle school, and they had never used it, but I thought, oh, this is kind of good. This is a good topic, and I don't know what all these things mean or where they came from. I'm curious about this, and I figure if I'm curious about it, well, then there's probably some other people that are curious about it as well. And it gets me to open my mind and think about, well, how could this relate to business and my business? Because a lot of things you're like, well, that doesn't relate to my business at all. For example, today's was on the back burner. Now, on the back burner actually totally relates to business. I'm actually doing, after the 100 days, we're on day 109. We're on day 107 of the year. Day 107 today. How do I know? Because I do one thing every day that centers me, and that's day 107. So today's day 107. So about a week ago, I ran out of my list of 100 Proverbs. Actually, one day because I had a duplicate in there. And I'm like, I'm not doing the same idiom in 100 days. No. So after that, I was like, all right, what do I want to do now? So I just looked up online, thank you, Internet, a list of like 50 some business-related idioms, because I'm like, all right, I'm doing this for my Supersize Your Business page. I want something that's a little easier and more related to business. And so this whole group is really easy to relate to growing your business or running your business or doing business in the age of COVID. So that's what I'm doing for the next 50 days. I picked that because I'm traveling. In a couple of weeks, I'm going on I'm traveling for a few weeks, and so I can keep doing it and making it easy and effective. I wanted to have a list of things available for while I'm traveling, so I can go ahead and just pull that up and use it and look up that one for the day, which is what I do at home, but it's always a bigger challenge when you're traveling, especially during COVID. So today was on the back burner, totally relates to business. I can think of so many examples of how it relates to business, as well as our life, right? We can tell where we are in someone else's priority list or pecking order or area of importance based on how much they pay attention to us, how much they communicate with us, etc. That's pretty easy. People show us exactly who they are. We just have to be willing to look at it and see whether we agree with it or not. They're just showing us who they are and where they are at this particular moment in time. Doesn't mean that's not going to change, but chances are they're showing you that. And I could give so many examples of that in business and in personal life, but I think most of us understand and can relate to that. It's like, you know, if you want to know who's your biggest or what's your biggest hurdle to anything, look in the mirror. We just look in the mirror and like, okay, yeah, I'm my biggest hurdle to anything, because we talk ourselves out of more things than we talk ourselves into in the most part. At least the vast majority of us do. There are people that just go and look in the mirror and they are exactly who they are, but that is like maybe 0.1% of the population of the planet, right? The rest of us have to think about it and work on it and continue to strive to be becoming the person we want to show up as in the world every single day. So that's it. Those are the things I'm working on right now. Also working with my coaches on a couple of different projects, which we're not going to talk about until I decide the direction those projects are going to go. And some of them I will talk about, and some of them are confidential because I'm working on them with another group, and it's not mine to share. It's not my business information to share, so I absolutely positively won't. But putting together boards of directors and things like that for certain projects, and again, not mine to share. I've got my own board. I'm helping a couple other people put together their boards. So it's really, really fun and exciting. And a great way to collaborate and cooperate and to grow and create a bigger impact in the world. That's it. If I can help you in any way, hit me up, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I got a gazillion things to do and I'm excited to do them. So I'm going to sign off and say, see you tomorrow. Have a great day.